So, with the current Luna 4 update, we finally got Classic mode in Milliastra Wonderland, which brings some very cool features to Genshin Impact, like finally a DPS testing dummy. Sorry. To check out what the new mode has to offer, I created a classic mode stage and documented my process and prepared this little guide to tell you about my findings. So, what does that mean? The key difference between classic mode and beyond mode is that it's restricted to 4 players maximum, but you can bring your actual Genshin Impact characters. And while creators can restrict the pool, there's also a lot of things that we're not allowed to do in classic mode. For example, adjust the camera, adjust factions, create custom skills, adjust the custom aggro modifiers and behavior. Yeah. Alas, because I didn't know any of this before, motivated and full with youthful naivety, I started. As I always loved the mechanic of Kaya building ice bridges in Genshin, now that I could restrict the character pool, I thought to myself, I can build an ice bridging stage, right? Right? So, my core idea was to create a game like Lemmings, where something tries to cross a pool of water and you try to construct ice bridges to help them get across. So, basically I only need 3 things: water, a goal, and a victim. Creation in distress. So I created a classic stage, and the first thing that you notice here is that there is not a camera menu, because unlike in Beyond mode you can only have a third-person camera. I didn't change the player settings because they were as I wanted them. After I selected all of the available cryo units in the game, I started building a watery environment to something that resembled ice at a reasonable scale. Yep, looks right. And our obstacle, the water, is finished. For the path, good path management and create a simple path that leads over the new body of water. And as our water crossing entity of choice, in the end I went for a normal creation Boar, because I knew that I can set their default behavior and movement path. Don't forget to put the newly created path into the patrol template. Since we are constantly attacking them, they also need to be immune to about every type of damage and elemental application, which is why eventually I had to apply a unit of Pyro, just because there was no frozen immunity out of the box. And to spawn loads of them automatically, we create an empty object that will serve as a spawner. And a goal entity, which is just a giant empty box that kills all creations it touches and increases the custom variable score on the stage entity, that is then displayed in a UI text box. And after I finished the setup of the stage, I went to play testing and just noticed a few minor issues. My biggest misconception yet: in Milliastra Wonderland, water is not freezable. You might think that it imposes a challenge for an ice bridging stage if water is not freezable, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't try. So I created freezable water in Milliastra Wonderland by creating a grid of collision triggers that, when attacked with Cryo, spawn a ice prefab that will then allow creations to step on. So they have to be big enough that there are no gaps, but since they're all on the same height, as we have a lot of Z-index fighting here, it is important that each of those differ in height by 0.1, just to prevent flickering. Yay! Crisis averted! Now, with the Boars up and running, they can now be guided safely towards the goal. And for the unfortunate ones that don't make it, we create another big kill box. So that even if they decide to not run into the water, makes sure they're dead. With all the entities in place, we can finish the stage with some decoration to make it feel more wintry. Please check out my Snowy Assets pack if you want to use some of them as well. There are of course still some issues with the stage, especially with the aggro management, but I'm pretty sure that we get updates to the pool of complex creations and we will be able to fully configure more of them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed me struggling my way through building stages here in Miliastra. It is a lot of work and countless hours go into learning how to do things here, even compared to engines like Unreal or Unity, just because we're so limited, and also into creating those videos. So if you are even slightly interested in this kind of content, please subscribe to help a small creator notice that his work is really appreciated. Happy building!